What's happening, Facebook? So I did a very short version of this in another group earlier, and it was right after a coaching call. And first off, I want to thank everybody for the testimonials who have been my coaching clients. I really appreciate it. But on this last call, the question was, Mario, I really want to change my life. I want to take the plunge, but what if I fail? When we want to change our lives, when we want to make an impact in the world, when we want to live a fulfilled life, that is not the question you should be asking yourself. You should be asking yourself, how hard will I fail if I don't take the plunge? That's what it really comes down to. So as I was talking to this individual, I basically said, look, I took the plunge. But I've embraced failure, and I've embraced failure because I know that the only way to get to where I want to be, the only way to do the thing, to teach people what to do, is to actually do it. I've made some big changes in my life, drastic big changes, because I knew that I was unfulfilled and I wanted to do something very special so that I can give back to the world and I can certainly elevate others. Now, here's the thing. The fear is what pushed me. The fear is what made me excited about what I was doing. And years ago, the fear would have held me back. And I did. And I stayed in the same place. And hey, Lloyd, how are you? And what I want you to understand is this. Ask yourself this question. What do you fear more? Do you fear failing and learning and moving forward and growing and having the ability to make an impact on the world? Or do you fear being in that same unfulfilled, miserable place that you are? Unhappy with whatever it is, and knowing that if you do not take the chance, if you do not take the risk, if you do not get to that starting line and take that step, what is going to be worse? And so having this discussion and saying, well, do you want to be where you are a year from now, 5 years from now, miserable and unhappy? Do you fear that more than actually taking the plunge? They thought long hard about it. I don't want to be where I am. I don't. I do not want to be where I am. Listen, here's the reality of it. The reality is this. Either you make the change, either you go out on a limb and do it, like the 1% of the most successful people in this world, 3% of the happiest people in this world, who are living fulfilled lives, who are living extraordinary lives. They're doing it by failing over and over again. Fail forward. It's as simple as that. How are you going to grow if you don't fail? How are you going to become stronger if you don't face obstacles? How are you going to get on the other side of that struggle? On the other side of struggle is greatness. If you don't take that plunge. Look, I know it's scary. It is. I was scared. I will admit that 100%. But I was far, far more afraid of staying in the same place I was. The same miserable routine, the same miserable job, the same miserable... It just was not worth it. So it's far more worth it for me to take the plunge and to fail. I've been through the stages. I've been through everything. And that's why I am able to coach people to get them moving forward and to give them momentum. It's like this. You stay in that cloud of fear, you lose clarity. Without clarity, you have no focus. Without focus, you cannot find your true passion and purpose. How do we gain momentum in this world? We gain momentum by taking the chances, by going out on a limb. It's as simple as that. But it's what you fear most. What do you fear most? Being in the same position that you are? Listen, I want you to think about some of the most successful people in the world. It could be an Elon Musk. It could be whoever it is. They failed. They failed over and over again, but it got them to where they needed to be. It got them to where they were giving back to society and allowing themselves to elevate other people and to change their lives. To be an innovator, to be a creator, to bring something massive to the world. You think all the way back to the Thomas Edisons. Failed how many times until he finally came up with the light bulb? I mean, you know, they thought Ford was out of his mind for trying to replace the horse, but guess what? He built a crappy car, and all of a sudden, it took off. This is what you need to do. You need to play the long game, not the short game. Fear is in the short game. You can overcome fear. You can conquer it. You can master it. You can learn from it, and you can get to where you want to be. The goal is dominate fear, to embrace it, so you're able to put yourself on that path that you want to be on. Think about the path you're on right now. If you're unhappy, you're unfilled, you have a boring, mundane life, you're doing the same thing over and over again, and you know that you don't like it, you do not enjoy it. Isn't that fear enough to push you through the fear of taking the plunge? I mean, I want you to think about that long and hard. I want you to really absorb that information. What do you fear most? This is going to be short and sweet, and I'm going to leave you with this. Plain and simple. If you do have that fear of making a drastic change in your life, to live a fulfilled life, to give back to the world, to give back to others, and to elevate others, let me tell you something. Ask yourself this. What do you fear more? Being in the same place you are right now, a year from now, 3 years from now, 5 years from now, and living with those regrets because you were so afraid to take that plunge, or overcoming that fear, just getting across that starting line. That's all you have to do. Everything else will fall into place. Everything else will come together, because the failures will teach you, the obstacles will make you stronger, and the struggles, I can't say it enough, on the other side of struggle is greatness. So I want to thank everybody for the testimonials, the people who I've been coaching. They're absolutely beautiful, and I love it. I welcome anybody to message me for a coaching call, for a momentum and clarity call. Look, the world is getting crazy, people. The world is getting crazy. Either we can focus on the craziness, the anxiety, the chaos, all this anxiety that's been thrown around the world, or we can take control of our own lives and not have others dictate it for us with the fear everyone's throwing out. Now is the time. If you are truly unhappy and you truly want to live a better life, there is no better time than now. There is no better time than now. I want you to think back to the Great Depression. Everybody, think about the majority of the people who did not take advantage of that time. Who didn't? Everyone thinks the great things happen in the good times. The great things don't happen in the good times. The people who fight through the worst of times, like 1929, the people who, you know the names, I don't have to name the Vanderbilts and the Carnegies and everybody else. They took advantage of that so that they can change people's lives, create jobs, elevate people. They did not have the fear because things were going bad, because all this stuff was going on in the world. They shut all that negativity off. They shut it off. And they gave themselves clarity. And with clarity comes focus, and with focus comes identifying your passion. And when you identify your passion and it's strong enough to the point where you know that is the direction you want to go in, and you no longer want to live the life you're currently living, the fear subsides. The fear subsides. You know why? Because the fear becomes greater staying where you are. Everybody, you have one life. It's as simple as that. You know, there's the saying, YOLO, you live only once. You don't live only once. You die once. You die once. You live every day. If you choose to. But ask yourself, am I living or am I just existing because I am too afraid to become the best version of who I am, to give back to the world and to make a change and to turn your life from an unfulfilled mundane life to a fulfilling life. Which would you rather have? That's just reality. That's not from a book. That's not from a therapist. That's not from a scientist. That's reality. So let's all of us take a hard, good look in the mirror and find out what it is we're truly after and what it is we truly want. Conquer your fear and do what you need to do to live your most fulfilled life. Plain and simple. Elevate others, but first you have to elevate yourself in order to elevate others. So work on yourself so that we can all change the world together. I love all you guys. Again, thank you for the testimonials. I really appreciate it. Anybody message me for a coaching call, more than happy. Bring you on board. Let's get that breakthrough. Let's gain momentum and let's live our best life. But more importantly, let's live it as the best version of ourselves. But have a great night. I'll see you guys tomorrow night.